We recommend this product be installed by a competent gunsmith.
Modification of your firearm may nullify the warranty of the firearm's manufacturer.
No liability is expressed or implied for damage or injury which may occur from improper use or installation of this product.
You are responsible for the safe handling, legalities, and use of your firearm.
Warning: always wear safety glasses when working on firearms. Hey guys, today we're going to install the Apex Low-Profile Magwell for the SA-35 and Browning high-power pistols. Today we're going to focus specifically on the Springfield Armory SA-35. Contents of this kit include the Apex Low-Profile Magwell, a split pin for installation on the SA-35, and if you're going to install the Magwell on a Browning high-power or Girsan, you'll have the drill, the 2 bushings, and the screw. In this case, we're not going to use these components because we're doing installation on the SA-35 only today. Tools needed for installation: a flat tip screwdriver. If you're going to put in different screws, you'll need a different screwdriver to install the screws, but removing and using the factory screws, you'll need a flat tip. Sharpie, a pair of calipers, digital or analog, doesn't really matter. A hammer, a 7/32 roll pin punch for installing the split pin, a 3/16 roll pin punch for removing it if you want to remove it, and a small file for fitting the Magwell to the frame. Obviously, I have my SA-35 frame here disassembled. I have my slide off just out of the way, so there's nothing to worry about. I also have removed my factory grip panels. First thing we need to do is check the bottom thickness of the frame. So I'm going to take my calipers here, and after I've already checked them zeroed, I'm going to put them on the edge, and I'm going to check the thickness of the rail here. We expect this to be around 0.350 inches plus or minus 5 thousandths, so between 0.345 and 0.355. In this case, we're in range, we're good to go. I will flip the frame over and I'll do a check on the opposite side as well, just to make sure I've got my part in range I want to work with. And we're right there in range. So from here, we'll begin fitting the Magwell. So the points of contact on the Magwell are going to be the fitting pads we just looked at, the inside of the rails where the frame hits it, as well as the pinhole that locks everything in place. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring the frame down on top of the magazine well, and we're going to center it and we're going to start sliding it back. In this case, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on, but now my frame right here is just hitting the first fitting pad. So now this is where I'm going to do a little bit of tapping with the hammer to mark this. I'm going to take it off, do some modification, and then we're going to try it again. So I'm going to check the other side and make sure I am making contact, and I definitely have enough material on the Magwell right in here to be able to take material off and install that Magwell onto the frame. I have the Magwell seating on the frame, just casually installed with my thumb. Now I'm going to use my hammer. I'm going to use the soft side of my hammer to tap on this. If you don't have a soft hammer, put a piece of wood here or something else so you don't damage the Magwell, because it is steel. Hammers are typically pretty hard and you don't want to damage the Magwell. So I'm going to give it a couple of taps. And then I'm going to flip the frame over. I'm going to give it a couple taps back, put my finger on the end so it doesn't go flying off across the room here. There we go. Now what I'm going to try to do is show you on video here the little bit of burnish on the little tab here that shows that it's hit the frame. From my perspective here, I can just see a little bit of metal raised up and a little bit of white on that surface. If I flip it around, I might be able to see that one better. But it's the same kind of thing over here. So what I now know is I need to take these tabs and remove a little bit of material going upward away from the magazine well, so this direction toward the table, to take some material off. Now I have some marks on the inside of my Magwell. I'm going to use my little file here to do the fitting. This is a pillar file. We sell these on the website, so you can pick it up from us or you can go anywhere and get them. It is a number SH2 file. It's a cross-cut, very straightforward, pretty available. What I need to do is I need to take a little material off of each of the inside little tabs here that we marked, one on the left side and one on the right side. My best method to do this is typically put this flat on the table, put the file all the way through, and this is a safe edge file. Both edges are flat and uncutting, only the faces are cutting faces. So, but being that the case, you still don't want to damage the parts. So I'm going to push this straight down in the Magwell, and I'm going to just give a little bit of take a little material off, trying to keep it as level as I can in this orientation on the Magwell across both tabs. Take a little material off. I'm going to take a look and see how much I've taken off those tabs. In this case, I haven't taken much off, and I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and do off camera, take a little bit more off these, get them where they should be a little closer. And I'm going to bring my Sharpie in, mark it, and show you how to remark it on the frame and then finish fitting it. So my 2 fitting pads, I've taken a little bit of material off of my file. I've got one pad there and one pad right there. They're kind of like a little arrow shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Sharpie, I'm going to go ahead and mark those guys up and basically put some black finish right back on them. So what I'll do is I'll put this back on the frame and I'll give it a few more taps with my hammer. And then I'm going to continue cutting a little bit at a time, a couple swipes with that file. I'm going to make sure the magwell is all the way against the bottom of the frame. Push it in. Obviously, I'm starting to line up. And the goal here, of course, is to line up the two pinholes together. I'm going to give this guy a couple taps. Okay, not moving much, no problem. Flip it back over, and I'll tap this guy right back off. Good thing I didn't shoot it across the room. And I'm going to re-inspect those tabs I just marked up. If the tabs have any fresh white material on them, that means that I still need to take more material off. So I'm going to keep taking those tabs down. Again, from this perspective, that direction, I'm going to keep taking those down until it fits the frame properly. You should have to hammer it on the frame with a few taps to get it on. You don't want it all loose and floppy. So take your time, a couple swipes at a time, and do a refit. I'm going to go ahead and finish fitting this off camera and then show you what it should look like when it's done. I would call this about halfway through the fitting process. You can see that the two holes are closer to lining up than before. You can also see that the little fitting pad here is starting to overtake the frame. You're basically going to need to take down that fitting pad until it doesn't engage the frame as tight as it used to. So keep going. Tap it. I'm going to tap this back off with my hammer, and I'm going to go ahead and keep going. I just wanted to give you an idea what it looks like about halfway through. At this point, the magwell is almost fully installed. What I'm trying to point out to you right now is in the back of the hole here, you can see the misalignment between the frame hole and the magwell hole. If I rotate this guy around so you can see it better on camera, you see mostly a full circle, but it's not actually a full circle. Look through the hole and make sure you see two concentric circles to put the pin in. Do not drive in the pin until those are concentric. You can also look in the magwell itself and the frame, and you can see that we're not fully aligned at the front and at the back yet. So we need to go a little further on, and then we'll keep going here. So I'm going to continue on off camera, bring it back and show you what it looks like before we put the pin in. With the hole fully aligned, I'm going to go ahead and take my split pin. The orientation really doesn't matter. My preference for something like this is always split in the up direction, like toward the sights. So I'll set it there. I'm going to take my hammer and just on the soft side and give it a few taps just to get it started. There we go. Now I have it started. I'm going to go ahead and use my, this one is the 7/32 coil roll pin punch. Put it on here. I'm going to start working my way, tapping this down carefully. You should never be sitting here just wailing on it. It should be gentle taps, aligning it so you get your pin rotated where it's parallel to the hole, and just give it a few taps at a time and drive it in. I'm just going to drive it down until this guy is just flush with the outside of the magwell, or just barely below. A little bit high still, a little more. And one more touch should be good. All right, flip this guy over, make sure I'm sub on the other side, so I'm going to go ahead and tap that guy a little further through just to make sure I've got my clearance. There we go. All right, I've got my magwell installed. I have it all the way down. I've also got the magwell fully on the frame now, and so now this is ready for use. Now, reminder for everybody doing this. The magwell being installed requires different grips. We offer grips on our website from Lock that are pre-cut for these magwells. You can also go to Lock and contact them, and they will cut their grips for the magwell of different varieties that we don't already offer on our website. So from here, we'll go ahead and get the grips and grip screws put on, and then this is all done. Now that we've got the magwell installed and all ready to use, I want to go over the grips really quick. So this is a pair of the grips from Lock grips that we purchased, that we have available on our website for sale with the magwells or separately. We have these in gray black and red black. This happens to be a gray set. You'll notice there's a pair of O-rings that come with the grips from Apex. And those O-rings are intended to go on the factory grip screw all the way up like so. And all you're going to do is put those on the screw and then put it onto the frame. What that's going to do is that's going to provide a little bit of cushion for the screw to the grip to make sure the grips don't come loose easily. So just a quick show of how it fits here. Drop this guy right on, and with it in place, locked in on the frame, you have a nice near seamless fit. The magwell looks good, the grip and everything, there's no big protrusions or anywhere to catch your hands or anything on. So now you're good to go. Put the screws in, tighten them down. You don't need to over torque them, but you're all set with that on. One quick reminder for everybody too is if you're going to take apart the action control of the gun, the fire control components, the hammer, the sear, the strut, you need to remove the Apex magwell before you go to remove those components, because it makes it almost impossible to get everything else out. So when you go to remove it, you're going to use that 3/16" pin punch to drive that pin out, take the magwell off, do your work, and the magwell goes back on last before the grips go back on. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns during the installation process, contact our customer service.